Y'all ready for this? 3, 2, 1, boom. Booyah.
Booyah.
He really brings the energy.
It's Cars and Coffee Week. I'm hyped.
Oh, it is Cars and Coffee Week. Well, at least I know what I'm doing Saturday.
Yeah, you have Saturday figured out. Now you have the other 4 days to figure out.
Yeah. So we have questions today.
We have a few
start with
questions.
my questions?
We have guidance.
Yeah, what questions do you have? Are you the questions that I'm asking you?
Well, we had an event weekend this weekend
We did.
that I'm still recovering from. Oh, my goodness. Every night at like 2 a.m., I was like, all right, we should go to bed. And everyone's like, no, we should party. Just like, man,
I can't even imagine seeing
Can
a
you
clock
imagine?
that says 2 a.m.
Really?
I feel like that would
Can you
ruin
imagine
my
a
week.
clock saying 4?
Yeah, when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, when he wakes up to go to the gym.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seeing a clock that says 4, and then my broken brain being like, you are not allowed to sleep past 6.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, brain, but we were out late. And my brain's like, no, dude, 6 is too late to wake up.
Damn.
It just
4
doesn't.
is-
I can't do it.
So you were just getting 2 hours sleep every night?
Sometimes I got more than 2, but it was
I don't even know
4
if
days in a row.
my body could stay up past those times.
No,
You
no,
just
I've
start
seen
to
I've
act
seen you.
different.
You can't even drive longer than 15 minutes without falling
Yeah.
asleep.
I
That's why you bought a house so close.
I shut down around 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
That's
you ever
when
seen
my
him try to
body's like, we're
drive?
done.
Yes.
Like
Not
longer than
like-
15 minutes. He falls asleep driving.
Yeah, he hasn't seen
I've
like
never seen
long distance
that.
driving. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
extreme. That's a
like
lot.
you notice he doesn't go to Polebridge because it's 50 minutes away.
Is that like an actual
He
thing?
would get not even to the unpaved part, and he would fall asleep and crash into that waterfall.
The story that kind of started all this was 2014 Arnold. We were on our way. I'll give like a longer version of the story. On our way to the airport for the Arnold, we were building up to launch Onward, which was like a 2-week sprint of just like sleeping in the office and like doing that whole thing. Dana prepping for the Arnold, where we're putting out at the time daily vlogs, even prior to for the months leading up to it, and then Flag obviously. On our way to the Arnold, found out our flights got canceled, so we had an impromptu drive to the Arnold.
Which
So
was 7.5 hours.
yeah, so we drove there, did the whole competing thing, still did like the content, the Onward, all that, and then on the way back, I was like, "Hey, I'll drive."
Well, on the way back, I was driving, and I drove about 4 hours, and I was just everyone else is sleeping, right? Like, and I'm just getting just tired.
Yeah.
Because we all did the same workload.
Yeah.
So we're all equally as tired, but I'm driving and looking around. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are just taking naps. So I pulled over to get gas, which is what woke everyone up. And Austin was like, man, that was a really good nap. And I was like, yeah, dude, I am rocked. And he's like, dude, I'll drive.
It was even my car.
And I was like, all right, like you can drive. I can do that. So we get in, and I text my mom like, hey, we're 3 hours away. So I had a timestamp on my phone, right? So we
This is
get
accurate.
gas. He pulls out under the overpass and starts to go up. And I was like, all right, I'm going to sleep for a little bit, try to catch up, and then I'll start driving again. And I go to sleep. I start to fall asleep, and I feel like the car like hit a rumble strip. And I'm like, the fuck? And I look over, and he's like, he's out.
Yeah.
He is like panicking. I was like, yo, bro, wake up. And he's like, oh. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, dude, I've been driving for so long. And I looked at the timestamp, and it was
45 minutes.
it was shorter than that. I remember it being like 13 or 14 minutes.
It was
Like,
one of the
it
only. It was one of the only 2 times that like I've driven. I don't know if you've done this before. I'm sure you have. You drive a lot, where like you're actively falling asleep while you're driving. You're like, fuck, I gotta pull over or do something. That was one of the only 2 times, and we pulled over, and I was like, I can't do
And
it.
that's when I lost faith in him forever. So then
Yeah.
I put him back in the passenger seat, and I drove the next 3 hours home.
Yeah. Then we flew to Australia and Texas. That was only the middle of our trip. That's where that iconic, if you will, video of you guys waking me up in the back seat and me like screaming, it came from that trip.
Insane. All right.
Yeah.
So I guess
Wait, that wasn't
keep
my
you
question.
caffeinated, or
No, I don't know.
That
if
wasn't my
was-
question.
No,
You didn't
this
even get
is
to my
a-
question
it's
yet.
good spur.
What was
off,
your
though.
question?
No, I was asking the question.
I was asking.
Oh, but it was
questions.
the same question you had.
But as long as we keep you caffeinated, you're good on driving, or
No.
is
No,
this
you
like
can't
a,
drive, dude. All
I don't,
right, so
I don't
listen.
even have interest in driving long.
Yeah.
Like I have interest in sitting in the car and
He has
letting someone
extra
else-
insurance on his car for falling asleep.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. Got time to be driving places.
Yeah. Why do you think he moved across the street from the warehouse?
Oh, so you could run here, I guess.
Quick
Yeah.
commute.
Yeah.
It's hard to fall asleep while you're running.
It's like, boom, here I am.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, setting the tone. There was an event weekend. There was a gentleman here, Josh, and I saw him in your office
Oh, yeah.
for a while.
I was getting the
while.
rundown.
And my main thought was, did you get a sponsorship? Because Josh sells lawn supporting stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wonder if they're locking down a
He was saying something
sponsorship.
like, if you mention it on the podcast, I'll get you some pesticide or all these different things, the Freedom fucking spray.
Get your lawn looking
when
nice.
he
all these different things.
when he starts talking about grass, like
Lost me.
they do different blends. Like, let's talk about supplements, right? Because I understand that better. But like, it's almost like if you've never taken supplements before and someone's explaining to you like an energy drink versus a fat burner versus a pre-workout
versus a pump.
formula, right? And they have that in the grass world.
Yeah.
And it all does different things. But he was like hammering ingredients and this is and I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, can I talk to Austin? And I was like, yeah, go talk to Austin. And I look over there and you guys are locked in. And I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like Austin's about to land a grass sponsorship.
I'm sure I could if I pursued it. It's one of them things where it's like, I got another 2 months to really dial things in back there.
Well, then
before I
it's
figure
winter.
out-
It's winter in 2 months.
Yeah, so I have like 2 months to kind of figure things out, prep for the winter, and then I think next summer is where I hit it hard. Like John Deere, my mower, still using that as a weight bench because I ordered the wrong color, so I got to send the weight bench. My life has just been a mess. Ordering stuff and like trying to get my house situated, not good.
It seems like the simplest life ever,
Yeah.
honestly. From
At surface value,
from this side of the table.
yeah. But then when you're inside,
Like
it,
your big thing is I ordered the wrong color bench.
yeah, and they sent me the wrong color uprights.
Oh,
It's been a big customer
unbelievable.
service issue. Finally got it.
What brand's
handled,
that?
though. Rep.
Oh. Are they being nice with customer service?
So far,
That's good.
yeah. I reached out Saturday and talked to someone on phone. He told me to do everything online. Did everything online. Didn't hear back from anyone Saturday, Sunday, which is fine.
It's the weekend.
Even though I was in business hours, they promote them on their website.
Did you write on their Facebook page like, fuck you guys?
No, so then I went through like the whole customer thing properly. Monday morning, when I saw it wasn't emailed back after a little while, I did the text message version.
Mm-hmm.
Then that kind of stopped. And then finally, when I got home, I was like, they're open for another hour. I got to get this figured out right now because I want it shipped to me. So I called them, and then the nice lady on the phone handled it.
Oh, that's nice.
So we're good.
All right.
Just
I
got.
always like to hear how other people's customer service.
That's why, like, I took my
Yeah.
time, and it was like, cool. It's a Saturday. They have their business hours promoted, but I'm still within the window. Let me see if they answer it today. Like, I was a nice customer about it, but the whole time, like, just preparing. If I need to turn this up, I can.
Have you ever heard Austin have an attitude?
I have.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You have?
Yes.
It's pretty. It's
Not like a severe one. Like I've definitely never seen you like go off the handle and like actually like.
I try.
No,
not
he
to.
doesn't- he doesn't
like,
yell.
When you initiate like a little bit of like the
the
like
spice. He
okay,
puts his little.
we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that little like switch.
Yeah. Nah, they handled it. So I got new uprights coming to me, and I had to get a new bench sent.
Man,
Here we
They
are.
saved themselves.
look at you.
Yeah.
All right, so
One wrong
Jordan
word.
said he had questions for us.
I
And
do.
you guys always ask me, you're like, do you want me to go over the questions beforehand? And I always say no.
Yeah.
I don't want to be prepared.
We even had a conversation prior to this where I was like, yeah, let's just run these by
I wanna
Rob
be
first.
unprepared.
And Jordan was like, he doesn't like when we run them by him. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste time.
So hit him with some hard
I only have so much time. My next meeting is a horrible meeting.
Oh.
Horrible meeting. Oh.
Do you have any meetings right now that like you're excited to go to?
Yeah, last week, dude. Last week. So I had a meeting with and I'm doing the deck for it right now, Deviant Inc.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a meeting with Deviant Inc. We're talking about a little partnership of rapping. Like, would you stop, dude? They can hear you.
I'm dying over here.
No, sneezing
sorry, I'll
isn't
die
dying. Don't be so
quietly.
dramatic.
It's death.
Really?
It's a symptom of death, I think.
Sneezing?
Yeah.
Yeah, your heart stops. That's why
You
you say
sneeze
God
too
bless
much,
you,
you
right?
die.
No, it doesn't.
Isn't that like why you say God bless you?
No, you
think
say that's
so.
because it's polite, but or
I
you
think
can
it's
like
'cause
give
your
someone
heart-
a hard time.
Your heart like skips
You can
a
give
beat.
someone a hard time while they're close to death.
I'm trying to make you a man.
I mean, I'm already
Number
man.
one, being a man. don't sneeze.
It doesn't need to be
Just man
coddled.
rules.
No, so Deviant Inc. was a conversation last week. Yeah, let's talk about my exciting ones. This one is this next meeting is bad, but I had a deviating conversation last week, which was really rad, about wrapping some vehicles, or not some vehicles, some of our smaller all-terrain motorcycles and stuff like that.
0 turns.
Yeah, well, no, not 0 turns. But that was a really cool conversation. I had a really cool conversation about another build that we're doing last week. That was very exciting. Man. No, most of my meetings are I don't look forward to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the Zoom calls on my schedule, I'm like, ugh. I should fix that now that we pointed it out.
Sorry.
Because that sounds depressing, right? I should just be excited
100%.
about everything.
Yeah. Or only do stuff you're excited about.
Well, this one I have to do.
Yeah.
But same thing, cleaning up after. I think that's the problem. Is a lot of times meetings that I have are cleaning up after other people that didn't do something right.
Okay.
You know, so it's more bitterness of like
The situation.
If you would have just done your fucking job
Yeah.
and done it properly and thoroughly, I wouldn't have to have all of these. That's what makes me mad. So miss the days of
Simple.
physical violence as repercussions. That'd be so much. Because if I had a meeting scheduled, a Zoom call meeting with all these people where I was cleaning up the mess, and then afterwards I got to like
cage match.
physically inflict the pain of annoyance that I felt from the meeting on the person. Oh, I'd be so excited to get through the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, that's not how it works anymore. Our HR department says, I can't do that.
What would your mode of combat of choice be like? Are you hopping an MMA ring, or is this like
We can do whatever. I don't know weapons,
You're
but we can do whatever. Yeah.
down for it?
Yeah. Like we can do it in front of your desks. I don't care. We can
Wait,
do
so
it
you're
outside
fighting
in the
Jordan
grass.
after this for sneezing?
No, I don't mind Jordan's. We're on a podcast. He's sneezing into the microphone. I thought it was weird.
I was sneezing off into the side. I don't
Yeah,
think
into
either.
the samples.
Yeah,
Now
we-
the samples are
we
infected.
viewed
I had my
footage.
mouth covered
Instant
and
replay.
everything.
All right, so you don't have a sponsorship.
Yet.
No, not for.
Well, then
I
don't
think
say
if I-
the name of the company.
No, not gonna.
Mm.
Need that paycheck first, right? Or product.
All right, what's the first question? What do we got?
All right. So this is actually focusing on some positive stuff. So last week we talked about how long we've been in Montana and how different of a lifetime that's felt like. What are some of the biggest positive things that have happened since you moved here to Montana? Like the biggest markers of progress or growth, whether in like personal life
Oh,
or
God.
professional. Like what stands out to you about your new life in Montana? Just focusing on the
Man,
positive.
I'm telling you, I don't remember the old life.
Good.
I don't remember it. So the thing that I went to right this morning was, I really like things. I appreciate things different. So like even this morning, waking up, it's raining today, right? But I'm like up kind of above the clouds where I live, so I get to like look at the clouds and the rain and all that, and it's like I never appreciated things like that before. You know, like even, you know, I think the old me would have been like, the road's wet, my truck's gonna get muddy on the drive-in, and I just washed it yesterday. That's annoying. But instead, I'm just like, man, I love when it rains. Like, I don't know. I just, something about life and my environment's different. And I think in, you know, where we used to live, I just felt like everything was always like, blah.
Yeah.
So I think my appreciation for things is like my biggest mile marker.
Awesome. What about you, Rex?
Similarly, like the big thing for me is like appreciating, I don't want to say nature, but kind of like the same thing he said. Like I never really thought about like, oh, the sunset or the clouds or anything kind of happening until we moved here. And it was like, whoa, the clouds are so close. Whoa, the sun is cool. Like, had I never noticed this before?
How often do you stare at the sun?
The sun?
Well, you were like
As often as I can.
looking at the sun, then you mentioned the sun being cool.
I'm picturing him on like
And the
his
clouds
lawnmower,
being
just
close.
like
Big sky.
already done mowing the
Just
lawn. Now he's
staring
just
into the
sitting there
sun.
for 10 minutes.
Saturdays and
like,
Sundays.
waiting.
When I'm just outside, just looking.
You look into the sun?
I look up at the sky and I'm like, there's the sun, there's the clouds.
Okay, so you just
Check.
acknowledge them. Yeah, you
Check.
don't stare
sky.
into the sun, because I was
No.
going to say I think that's bad.
Yeah, it probably
Yeah,
hurt
it's
your
not good for
retinas.
your eyes.
Okay.
But yeah,
Which I learned if you're like looking into the sun or bright lights, you're supposed to look like 10 to 15 degrees off from the lights to preserve your like vision, especially like at night. If you look 10 degrees off from like a nice bright light, your eyes perceive it better and it saves your night vision.
Don't. There you go.
Look at that.
He's doing it.
You just got to be like,
My vision is saved.
you just got to be like having a conversation with someone staring off like away from them, but just
Wait.
talking to them.
So instead of looking at someone,
You said
If
light.
they're behind a bright light, like right now, like you're right behind a bright light.
so you look like here.
So technically, it's like I can look at like the mic on the left, and it doesn't affect my eyes as much.
It definitely affects the conversation.
A little bit, but we're far.
Yeah, like
enough
look at
away
this.
that, like,
Look, if I'm having a conversation, I'm doing this and looking 10
I'd say it
degrees
was
to
the
the
best.
left. It's kind of weird, right?
it's better for your eyes, though.
Yeah, but it feels like I'm crazy.
You just got to keep it
Yeah.
in your pocket for situations you
That's
need.
pretty
It.
wild.
Yeah, if
I
one of
get
the
it
things
in
I'm-
like this.
I thought Jordan was just cross-eyed this whole time, but he's been trying to look 10 degrees to the right.
Like, I thought he was just avoiding me. No, he was preserving his retina.
Oh, it's
Wow.
been I've been studying for the
Biohacker.
drone test, and that's one of the things on the drone.
Oh
test.
yeah, you got to take your drone test
Tomorrow,
Man,
right?
Yeah.
how
Oh,
crazy is it that we're gonna fly drones illegally for the first time ever?
Yeah. We
Man.
flew them legally before they got crazy with all the rules.
Yeah, and then we flew them illegally for the last however long.
Yeah. And for all FAA, they're joking right now. We have been flying very legally.
Well, you
very
you haven't
professionally.
flown one yet. I mean, it's been independent contractors.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Brant had like all of his certification and stuff like that.
Yeah,
for the,
pretty
the last
impressive.
That's
event.
why he's the only
Everyone's been
pilot who's
official.
ever been able to fly here.
Yeah,
Everyone else is like, doesn't
certifications
work.
are crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very cool though. It's been exciting learning all this stuff. Like
Do you
had no idea.
do you have to take a written?
no, so it's a multiple choice test, just 60 questions. And then like the majority of it is safety stuff and then like sectional charts and reading like weather stuff like that.
Wow.
All things that like you're very, very familiar with your pilot background.
They
It's a minor
just so
level
you're
of that.
aware, and I'm kind of dumb, but the FAA on their tests words things very strange.
Yeah, I've come across that.
It's not to see if you know it. It's like to see if you know how they word the questions. The first time I took my written, I failed my written. And then I like actually got some studying courses and they taught me that like it's not if you actually know it. It's can you read their question properly? And I was like, that's a weird way. Like, but you know, it's the government, dude. They really have their shit
The
together.
NSAM certification for a personal trainer test is like similar. And like
Yeah.
when you take the course that like prepares you for the test, like if you pay for the extra stuff, they kind of explain the way the questions are constructed in a way to like kind of confuse you. There's two answers that are like the obvious wrong ones, so you can always like cross them off right away. And then with multiple choice, there's always the third answer is there to try to trick you, and then obviously the real answer.
So, but nobody actually gets personal training certifications, right?
I mean, I'm talking 2012 when I got mine.
Oh yeah,
Now-
back
nowadays
then. Now you
I'm-
just need to be in shape.
to the most
Yeah,
extent.
if you're in shape,
if you're an
I'm
online
like,
trainer.
I'm certified.
Yeah, I think a lot of gyms still like ask for certifications just for like health purposes and stuff.
Interesting.
But everyone's like online now, so it doesn't matter.
yeah.
Since we're going on this tangent, how long of a course is that?
I have no idea. It was 13 years ago, and I
You
don't
caught 'em
remember what I
lying.
ate for lunch yesterday.
Mm,
No, you could look it up. I passed the test
very
You're on the
suspicious.
list?
from 2012. Yeah,
Probably
And
very
you have to,
expired
like-
at this point.
Are
Yeah,
you
you have
plugging
to-
your personal training right now?
No.
Yo, hit him up in
not
the DMs.
interested in clients.
If you want to lift weights on your zero turn,
Jordan,
He's your guy.
Jordan was my client. He
Oh.
lost a bunch of weight.
You
Yeah,
should.
that's
Yeah,
true.
what happened to that?
Case
Test story.
study.
I'm just curious. What happened to that? Because you guys were training every single day,
we were doing mornings like,
and then it all
nonstop.
fell apart. What happened? That's my question.
I started doing more afternoons because Jenna
Okay.
started training with me in the afternoons, which has been like
All right.
And
A
I
lot of
started
fun.
trying to change my schedule.
And does Josh lift weights anymore?
I have not seen him in the gym in a while, but I don't want to assume. I don't know what he's been up to.
I love assuming.
It was when we started the year and everyone wanted to win that DLB Daily Challenge.
Oh yeah.
The whole warehouse.
And then
was
the
fired
dark
up
the
on
dark
fitness.
horse in the back just won it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brandon like.
He just started a
Killed it.
diet. All right. What's the next question there, bud?
I want to dive a little bit more into that first question. I think you guys touched on it, but not in the way that I was necessarily hoping.
Damn, he's into questions.
I am.
All right. So building this building.
Okay.
I think this building, I forget a lot. You know, like I'm here every day. I'm here on the weekends. It's just like I walk in and go to my office. But whenever I have people in from out of town, and I sort of have to like show it or explain where things are, or we drive up to it the first time and they get their phone out to record it because we have that really nice reveal. It's like oh yeah, we did something really cool. Like this facility is special, and especially because we built it from the ground up. All the risks we took with it, all the extra that we added to it, that, you know, maybe from a business standpoint doesn't make sense, but it's definitely something when I show it to people, I'm reminded that this building is so rad. And then I gave a tour. I gave a tour to the guys that came, to a husband and wife that came, and I actually went over like in depth with employees and sort of like how we're handling employees. It was kind of like giving them a little mastermind, but how we handle employees, different employee relationships, and then also like why the building is set up the way it's set up. And as I explained that, I was like, whoa, like this building is cool from a business strategy standpoint too. I mean, a simple example, right, is we have really cool offices up here, and then there's the people that work in the back. And for a long time, because I want people to do whatever they want, that's what I want from everyone in the world. It's just like freedom, do whatever you want. We used to let everyone eat wherever. So the warehouse used to eat in the warehouse, and we used to eat in our offices or at our desk. And there was like this really huge divide that I wasn't really aware of until I started, you know, hearing some feedback from angry people, which was like the back of the house didn't like the front of the house. The front of the house just didn't even know. So we made the lunch loft. And in the lunch loft, we made the rule, like a simple rule like this, that, you know, starting this brand, whatever, 16 years ago, I would have never thought I was going to be thinking about something like this, but making everyone eat in the lunch loft and forcing back of the house to interact with front of the house, and like just that little movement and how that just completely solved the problem. And we've done that with so many little design aspects and things throughout this warehouse that, again, I forget. And then like even the larger creative area out here, so it's everyone's kind of always on the same page, how offices are structured. So I between giving the excitement tour to like my friends and then other people where I'm trying to teach them about why we built the warehouse, like the foundation of health, all these different things. And I'm just being like, wow, I would have never thought of that. It's like, oh yeah, I've been doing this a long time, and we built this building properly.
Yeah.
So I think this building, and especially knowing that we did it during that fake pandemic thing, was kind of the best. Like, it was the hardest, but also the result is just so damn good.
And a lot of that came from before being in previous buildings and making it work for a long time. Like none of the other warehouses or buildings we've been in till this one was set up for us. It was just set up and it's like, cool, this is the upstairs, this is the downstairs, the offices are already right here, we're leaving it like that.
Yep. We just made it work.
Yeah. We did a little bit of work over in what building was that? On 40, the first building we got here, but it was still like fitting into the mold that we had.
Yeah.
So we got to learn a lot from when it came time to this, like, cool, this is how it needs to go.
Is that a better answer there for you, bud?
That was a much better answer.
All right. I like trees, rain, and this building.
I love that. And just speaking to that, I think it's been cool seeing that culture shift in the new building compared to the old one even.
Yeah.
Over at like 110 Jensen. Like the difference that like the loft has made for
bro,
us all
I think back at like, you know, I'm not going to talk ill about the staff, but I'm going to give them a little bit of grace here. But like, you remember some of the working conditions? Like
110?
When we were told to sell that building, right?
Yeah.
And we wanted to put that money towards here. But then this timeline was so late that we had to all work out of the Little West building.
Yep.
And like the working conditions were bad. And like I knew they were bad. And I was like, shit, I need to fix this. So as soon as we were able to move here, we all moved into the old podcast room downstairs.
Yeah.
And I just remember how people weren't on board with it. Like they just a lot of those people that were working here, I think, came from offices like this.
Yeah.
And like didn't, and it's probably my fault, but didn't have the patience or like the vision of what was on coming up. And I mean, that's I think why we do town hall meetings and stuff like that now, is because a lot of times people can't see the vision. But that was, I think, the biggest time where I would walk in and look at the staff and be like, man, they don't understand what we're building.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're frustrated by this small little room right here, like we're working towards this.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a lesson to leaders, right? Like just because I go home and all day and all night think about what we're doing and what we're building, not everyone else does that, and they go home. So you got to remind people often. And I just don't think I was reminding people because I was too caught up in trying to build this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
Love that.
But I remember the angry offices, like
it was an interesting point.
Moly.
Very different world.
Yeah.
Very, very different world. Like, it's cool here. Like even this morning, walking out and like yelling down to the warehouse crew and asking them about some stuff for what we're releasing this Friday. Like everyone was like super friendly, and we were all just like chit chatting. And lunch is now one of my favorite times because it is time for us all to like actually interact and just ask each other about BS, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Enjoyed a lot.
And we only have rad employees right now.
Yeah.
Like it has to be a combination of decisions we've made, but then also like the culture here right now is really, really cool because it's is equally as hard as it's ever been.
Yeah.
And like we could say it's disorganized because of shipments or things are late, but the mentality is completely different.
Yeah.
Like everyone understands that, okay, cool, the truck that was supposed to show up 2 days ago didn't show up, so now we're in a rush to shoot this product, to list this product, to get inventory counts and get it live on the site. When before that was like, I feel like people took it as a personal attack.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, you made the truck late. It's like, I didn't make the truck late. Like, trust me, I wanted the truck here 2 fucking weeks ago, but where our headquarters is in Montana. So I don't know. Everything seems to be really cool right now with the staff, the building. Everyone treats it with a lot of respect.
That's why I think that comes from like a lot of the communication between departments that maybe wasn't happening prior. So like when a truck would show up late, it would always be like, oh, well, this is just our fault. It's like, well, you don't realize how that's affecting it affects everyone, not just like, oh, this showed up 2 days late.
Yeah.
And I think with everyone we have now, people have been around long enough to kind of see all the different variables to know like, cool, if we have a release of goat shorts next week and we're expecting the truck on Monday, we're expecting it Monday, but that means we need to be prepared that
You never know.
Thursday is when it might show up.
You never know.
Great questions.
He's so happy.
He's
So,
just nailing cameras over
Now looking forward, the next 7 years, is there anything that you're?
Well, wait.
No, we're looking towards the future now.
Why 7 years?
Because we've been here 7 years now. You've been in Montana for 7 years.
Oh, okay.
So it was
What's
7 years
what's
in
the
PA,
next
7
transition?
years so far.
Look like?
Okay.
It's like a set
So
of
you're doing the
21s.
math. Man, I mean, based on that's an interesting.
You can take it as micro or macro as you want. If you want to go big in general of like, cool, I want to be happy and have more options. Or are there certain goals that you have set that you'd like to share?
Man, that feels all too relevant to my day yesterday. Wow. I'm trying to I don't know if I've thought through this concept enough to talk about it, but I'm going to. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Oh yeah.
Um,
I just got stoked.
Yeah, so I have personally some interesting things going on. With, you know, I have a business manager or we can call him a what's the word?
Business manager, kind
Kind of a business manager,
of
right?
like an agent.
An
almost.
agent, kind of, but it's sort of
For
it's
you
sort of
personally,
for
like
for
your
Rob,
brand.
for Rob Bailey personally.
I think that's enough context.
And one of the things we're trying to do there is, I think, just more or less help manage my relationships with these different brands and see opportunity. So here's a great example, right? He is trying to get me to start my own podcast. And in my head, I'm like, we already have this podcast. Why would I start another podcast? And he's like, oh, because you're good at podcasts. You can do these things. And I still don't understand why, right? And then we went to the Mastercraft weekend.
Yep.
So, for example, that was my deal that I did outside
Like
of
your
him.
contact.
Yeah,
that-
and ideally he would take these deals over. So, you know, our contacts brought us out to Mastercraft. They really wanted to show us the new boat. And in turn, I was like, I want to give them a bunch of cool content. So we brought the content team out. Went there, did this damn thing, gave him a bunch of cool stuff, and then it was over. And to me, that's a really good exchange.
Yeah.
I took time out of our busy schedule, but from his side, he was like, if you would have had a podcast, then I could have leveraged your platform there with Mastercraft, and say on Saturday, I would have tried to see if they could have given you a boat. We could have set up a podcast on the boat, and then all of a sudden, instead of you seeing Kittle hitting golf balls, like we probably could have done your podcast, a nice series with all of the celebrities on a Mastercraft boat. And I was like, oh, okay. So not really like an agent, like negotiating me deals, more watching my blind spots of opportunity and figuring out what does Rob Bailey as the word influencer sucks, but like it's what it is, right?
Yeah.
As an influencer or personality, like what does my impact look like and how can you take pressure off of sort of my decision making? And I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
And
like,
help execute.
And help execute.
Because
yeah.
like we could have sat down and came up with that idea, but it's like,
we could have came up with the idea,
start
but then the negotiations, the logistics, all that with Mastercraft would have been kind of hard. So he's bringing ideas to the table like that, right? Because yes, we went on the Mastercraft trip, but I'm like thinking about how to plan out the next 5 car events here.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool to have another cool brain with me. Now, that being said, part of my duty is getting my social moving again and like continuing to vlog and like leaning into, hey, I'm an influencer, which kind of at this age feels like I like putting it out because there was a lot of people that came up to me this weekend and was like, dude, you changed my life. And it's like the little CCV clips that are on that page. And to me, it's like, man, I just don't want to be a talking head on the internet anymore. I don't want to constantly try to reinvent and find things to keep awareness. And I think the example that I used was Magnus Walker, right? So you know who Magnus Walker is? Okay. So in the 90s, Magnus Walker made tons of money with apparel, which then afforded him to really get into 911s and start building classic 911s. Then there was like a little mini doc and some videos done on him in the 2000s that made him like hyper famous for a minute, right? So looking at him as an example, because I respect the guy, I think he's rad. So he did that. Matchbox came out with a car. Like he had all this of attention, and then he just sort of faded away. And like you don't really hear from him anymore. And I don't know. He's lost from my, like
from your radar.
I don't see him doing anything. And I think in the traditional influencer world, like you constantly have to reinvent yourself, you know, kill Rob Bailey, reinvent me, reinvent myself. And not only that now, but you have to do like kind of gross things to keep attention and keep it moving and stuff like that. So like it's the battle of it. So full context there with me sort of thinking through it as I'm talking. Yesterday, that was my thought process. So like thinking about the new project that we're doing, I'm so excited to talk about this, but it was the thing in New Mexico. So I'm negotiating a bunch of partnerships with that to bring that to light. And that's like a really exciting bringing attention to the brand and doing things, right? But it's also a lot of money. And then thinking about this weekend, once again, we're going to follow my stupid brain, but thinking about this weekend and the guy who owns the concert, his name's Johnny Shockey, right? And I looked at 2 things this weekend was Johnny Shockey's impact that he had on the Valley, the local economy, and how much fun everyone had at the concert. And then also, like, he didn't upload anything on Instagram. Like, he spent every ounce of his being building that from the business side. So yesterday for me I was quiet. I didn't talk to any of you guys, but I was thinking about like my effort business-wise balanced with my effort of being an influencer and pushing my personal brand. It's like, am I undercutting the Flagner Fail brand? So even with this next project coming up that we're going to document, that's going to be super cool and whatever, it's like, yeah, but if we all the phone calls and negotiations and everything I'm doing for this project, if I put that into the actual business brand and forgot about myself on social platforms and stuff like that. Like yesterday, my thought was, if I delete all social media right now and took that energy that I put into my own brand, which has beautiful effects. Like I was stopped so many times at the concert and it was powerful motherfuckers, like fucking billionaires, half billionaires, dudes that are on the come up, like everyone just being like, dude, you don't realize what you've done for me. And it's like, fuck man, it feels like it's in vain, but it's also like, I know I say the right things sometimes the right way that inspire the right people, and that's really cool. But if I just deleted all of that and just focused on the business side, like, would I have the same impact that someone like Johnny had, where we can say he ruined the Valley this weekend, or we can say that he brought the coolest thing to the Valley that the Valley's ever seen. And I'd lean towards he's bringing the coolest thing to the Valley's ever seen, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, regardless of whether traffic was bad or the grocery store.
To give quick context, it's a 3-day outdoor concert with a ton of huge names.
Yeah, I don't know how many people were there, but it was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, what it does for the local economy, what it does for hotels, what it does for everything. It brings people here and it does cool stuff. It also, you can look at it as, ruining cowboy culture, or you can look at it as bringing an appreciation, however you want to look at it, right? But I'm trying to look at the good of it and then being like, damn, dude he's not worried about being on Instagram. He's worried about building massive things. And I think that's the one thing I've always struggled with, is splitting my attention. And yesterday, half the calls I was on were like for Rob Bailey personal brand, and the other half were for like Rob Bailey personal brand involved with Flag Nor Fail. So to answer your question, as long and rambling as possible, is like the next 7 years, like that's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Like I had the thought yesterday where it was like, man, really need to get on TikTok, but I don't understand TikTok. And then I went on TikTok and like within 3 minutes, I felt like I was going to vomit. Like it's such a different, loose platform. No one cares about quality. I've spent the last 16 years getting better, right? Getting better cameras, getting better people, training people to be better, like understanding the relationship between like the right music and the right color grading and all these different things, and like pushing you as a photographer, and then looking at TikTok and it's like, oh, it just needs to be 3 seconds of nonsense. Like, and then being like, I think the big question at the end of it was like, do I want to play that game? Right. And I know it can bring sales, but it's also like, is that a game that I want to play? Then it clicked like, well, I don't want to play that game personally, and that's something that Johnny didn't do this weekend. I'm talking a lot about Johnny, like people know who he is, but he didn't play the game this weekend, right? He hired the people that are in the game right now, like not bands that, were famous last year or whatever, currently the bands that are fucking doing it, right? So looking at it from a business perspective is like, oh, he's leveraging the people that are actually making the moves. He's not trying to reinvent himself every year to be like, and now I'm on TikTok. So that's the big thing. I'm like, as of yesterday, I mean, every single day I have a new giant mental philosophy that I'm battling with, which I wish I could turn off, but that's sort of what I'm looking at, is like the next 7 years. Do I want to be a content creator that's constantly trying to figure out how to connect with people and get my message out there? Or do I keep doing it like the CCV page, that's not a big lift, that I'm putting out the right message. It is available, so I'm checking that box, but I'm not looking there being like, all right, we got to completely reinvent how I put these messages out to make sure we hit a bigger audience, which then takes so much effort away from business. So I think my quest in the next 7 years is I want to figure out how to have a bigger impact, right? And whether that impact is through being more of a creator and a influencer or whatever, or is my impact going to be more from business? And then the other side of that coin is giving the tour of the warehouse this weekend and realizing that like the super genuine me back in the day, that's kind of what everyone got. Like, I think you guys can see how I've changed in maybe the last few years, right? And that's like a curated stepping up to my role, but often trying to play a part. And I think that my two big focuses in the next 7 years are, I want to make sure that I have the impact on the business side or creator side, whichever side I really lean into. And then also I want to make sure that the version of me that's presented to staff in the world is as genuine as possible, but packaged so it has the greatest impact. Because a lot of times when I am an emotional artist, what Singerman calls me, right? Like that's my strongest characteristic. So I have extremely manic sessions, right? Where like I'll get very depressed. I realize that the energy from depression or not feeling like I'm enough, when that hits, I say, ooh, there's a lot of energy here, right? And I learned a very long time ago that it doesn't matter if it's good energy or bad energy, like you can leverage the fuck out of it. So when I fall into an artistic depression or whatever the fuck it is, that's a lot of times where I'm like, if I just figure out how to get out of this, I'm going to be able to work for 24 hours. And those are the nights where you're like, whoa, you did all this last night. And that comes from like a really, really low point. And then normally when we do really cool things, I go to a really high point and I get very nervous that I'm going to come back down off that mountain. So the last 2 years, I've spent a lot of time, and I'm very proud of myself, keeping myself level so I don't go too low and I don't go too high, which has allowed me to show up really, really well for employees. And I think it reflects in the warehouse and how everyone feels around here. Like no one's on eggshells. No one's like, how is Rob going to show up today? But at the same point in time, I haven't figured out how to harness the highs and the lows as a superpower to have the proper impact. So to answer your question as shitty and as long as possible is I really want to make sure that I have an impact from the business side so I can affect more people, whichever route that is. And then my wildness and my creativity and my emotion and all of that, I want to figure out how to harness that, whichever way that is, to also have the most impact. Because that's the only time I ever feel like I'm valuable is when I'm having impact. Like yes, I retired my parents and bought my parents a house and moved everyone to Montana. And that's all great, but that's a long fucking time ago. And I look at like, I really, really look at like, okay, in the last 6 months, like what's the big fucking impact I've had? And I'm not one who takes three wins a month and adds them all up to be like, oh, I had 50 micro impacts this year, or I'm proud of myself that I've leveled out emotionally so I can lead people better. It's like, no, dude, like what is that big fucking bomb? And I feel like in not fully in on all these things and trying to manage it all, I'm having less of an impact. Granted, it's less jarring for everyone, but I want to figure all that out because I want to have the greatest impact as possible. And it's the battle of figuring out what that is. So I'm not going to retire. We're not going to move again. I can assure people of that, but I just need to figure out the combination. But I think that's what life is, right? It's figuring it all out, and it's being aware that there is a combination to figure out. And then once you figure it out, you're older, you've learned everything by figuring it out, and then you have a whole new perspective and all new opportunities, and you got to figure it out again. So I guess just keep doing what I'm doing.
Oh yeah. That's a beautiful answer.
Thanks,
beautiful
man.
Answer. Rags, do you have anything?
I'm not answering that.
Right, cool. Well, that's all I had for today.
Oh, that was it? That's all your questions?
Yeah. That was
Where's
beautiful.
the softball questions?
Yeah, some fun ones. Just there's some zingers in there.
Should I answer this phone call from New Jersey? No.
No.
Softball questions were more focused around Under the Big Sky. Like who's your favorite person that popped up on the stage? Was there anyone that you were surprised by? Or
my favorite person this weekend was myself. Clear as fucking day. The reason my favorite person was myself is I didn't really drink too much, which I'm very proud of myself. I normally look at it as a reason to like completely let loose, and I mismanage my alcohol. But I made a decision on Saturday that the environment was so right and the people we had there was so right. Like there was no wild card people that didn't know how to integrate. everyone there was like really, really cool. And for some reason, Saturday, I was like, I'm going to take today's opportunity to have like really honest conversations with everyone. Like really, really honest conversations, and say things that like I should have said and everything like that. So I went around to every single person and like said things that I normally wouldn't say in a way that I normally wouldn't say them. So, for example, Chelsea here is the most badass fucking person in this building. No offense to anybody else, but like her growth curve over the last 5 years is unbelievable. Like what she came in with, like packing boxes and working with you. Mm-hmm. And now like the biggest projects in my life, I just passed to her. Like I never thought I'd have anyone who, like my brother has my back, and we all know that. Like Drew is like my eyes in the back of my head. And I feel so blessed to not only be able to work with my brother, but have someone behind me that just like looks the fuck out for me and I always knows has my best interest. And I feel like luckiest dude in the world, right? Like that's a very rare thing to have, is that, so I feel very, very lucky. But like when you really think about it, Chelsea's the same exact thing. And the fact that I found somebody else who on the business side, the legal side, the finance side, all of that, like I feel comfortable having all of my information and 100% has my back is like really rad. And a lot of times when I'm here late at night, I look over and she's like still there and like just super, super down. But because she's so good, I don't tell her. I always tell her like good job and stuff, but I've never like actually sat her down and been like what I just said is like, I have my brother, but like from the same respect, like you came out of fucking nowhere, right? Like we've been through everything. I'm not going to talk about you.
No.
But like I've never had that conversation with her. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that conversation right now.
At Under the Big Sky.
Under the Big Sky.
Children's
yeah. like just, we don't have loose environments like that. Like it's 3 days. So you really get to fall into a groove. And I was like, I don't have conversations like that. So like I hit her with that. Every single one of my friends, I was like, let me tell them everything I need that I should have said that's like implied. So I did all that. And then I had some hard conversations, like some people that are a little bit like on outside of my circle. I told them point blank, like what they need to change in life. Like, hey man, you're fucking 15 years younger than me. And this is what you need to do to fix your life. And it's hard for me to say, but like I am an OG now, right? Like I've been through all this shit. So like when I look at someone who I appreciate their work ethic and I appreciate all these things, I'm not going to share what I specifically told this person, but I am going to share because it'll be a little bit more dramatic. But like I looked at one of my really good friends and I was like, you're a fat fuck. And he was like, wait a second, you just told Chelsea that like you love her and trust her with your life, and you're telling me you're a fat fuck. But like it's sort of what I wish someone would have told me when I was in my 20s, right? Mm. Because the person that I was specifically talking to is like looking for a relationship, okay, right? And I'm watching this and like crushing in life, looking for a relationship, all these different things. And I'm like, yeah, dude, but like for 3 months, you're a super fat guy, and then you get super lean, and then you're like all over the fucking place. And like that comes down to consistency. And I wish that in my 20s, I would have taken health a lot more serious. I wish that I would have been controlled with my weight and formed habits in my 20s that would have carried me to my 40s and would have got stronger. And I think a little habit like that, like you're crushing it on business, I don't need to tell you shit. Like you're crushing it everywhere else. And that's the one thing that's out of control. And like, if you fix that now, the repercussions on the positive side in your 30s and your 40s and how you show up to things, that's going to pull your consistency everywhere. And that's something that like I can see clear as day, like 100% clear as day for this kid. But like he can't see it. Like, and I know because when I was in my 20s, like I couldn't see that like me yo-yoing and bulking and being all over the place, like it's still fucking hard now. But if I would have corrected it in my 20s, it would have been a really rad habit. And what would have that have done for everything else, right? Like, where else would I have showed up at? Like, my brother's been consistent. Dana's been consistent. And I look at them and I'm like, man, like, look how they look right now. Look how people talk to them. Look how people trust them. Like, I didn't need to keep an eye on Dana all weekend drinking or anything because, like, she has really strong habits she's built. So it forms a different layer of trust. Same thing with my brother. And I'm looking at this kid. I'm like, you're unpredictable, you know? And it's like, I know I started out by calling you a fat fuck, but like, I'm calling you up right now. Like, I'm calling you out, but I'm also calling you up to like, you fix that, dude, and like, you will fucking be a monster. So yeah, started this out with a really hard conversation, but like, that's what I need to tell you. Like, that's your fucking blind spot and that's what you need to fix. So whatever. I don't know if anybody was in the mood to fucking hear it, but I also realized that everyone that I was around really respects me. So it was a really cool opportunity to say a lot of things like that. But I'm really happy with my performance. You know, everybody else is pretty good. Tyler Childers sounded muddy, and I appreciate that he likes so many instruments. They've added 4 more people to the band. So, but I looked at that as the thing I like about the most about him is like how emotional his voice is. And I think the largeness of the band and having so many people took away from the emotion. You know, that's coming from a guy who doesn't understand what the fuck he's talking about. But yeah.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, dude, there was fucking like 10 people on stage with him, all doing solos and playing complicated shit and like flexing as he was singing everything. And I was like, man, I just want acoustic. Like, this dude is so good, and it's so simple, and it feels so complicated. Still good, but if you wanted me to critique that. But yeah, dude, everybody ripped, man. The whole weekend was just beautiful. Parking's a shit show. Parking was not okay.
Heard many stories about that.
Yeah, it was. I can't believe they don't have that figured out.
Yeah, one of my buddies said that he just ended up parking and then just sat by his car for an hour before he moved again.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Parking is, I mean, you need to expect an hour and a half to get out of the parking
I was
lot.
on my way out of Whitefish at like 11 a.m. Saturday, and I was like, cool, I don't think I need to come back up here this weekend.
Yeah. Well, I hit you up Sunday, and I was like, hey, man, you want to go? And you're like, I think I'm good.
I was in my garage, like, trying to assemble half of the shit that I bought and doing that whole thing. I just heard about stories of Whitefish, and I was like, I'm good down here.
Yeah.
It's quiet down here.
Yeah.
Which one? No. How's Block Party?
Oh, Block Party was good.
Oh, wow.
People are asking. I got to tell a lot of the stories that you mentioned here about like moving into the other buildings, and the one neighbor, because I got to meet everyone for the first time, said like, oh, so I saw that sign outside this morning for the car show because the detour, and had to drive by and was wondering what that building was and all that. So got to have like a lot of those conversations, and then met my one neighbor that lives up the end of the street, met him, and he's from Alaska. So he had a lot of questions for me, and every question he asked, I said, honestly, man, I don't know. And I just kept telling him, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Before he came over, I looked up where we were flying to make sure I wanted to make sure I at least told him that part. And he was like, oh, cool, that's where I'm from.
I still have some work to do on the Alaska trip. So to cover the Alaska trip.
He wanted to know what fish we were catching, what lakes we were going
on,
what towns.
So I'll tell you right now, we are flying into Anchorage. We're renting a mid-size SUV.
Okay.
And we are driving to Cooper's Landing.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be in Cooper's Landing with the upper fork of the Kenai.
Kenai.
I'm going to send him a link to this.
All right, the Kenai River. And that night we're going to fish on our own and do whatever. So we'll fly fish. I rented a cabin right on the lake, or right on the river, right? So we'll fish pretty much from the dock, just get our wits about us. The next morning, I hired a gentleman that listens to my music.
Okay.
And he is going to take us out on a full day. So that'll be an 8-hour fishing adventure, and we're going to hit 3 different disciplines. So we're going to start with trout fishing from the boat, which is a little more mellow. Then we were going to go into snagging, or flossing, sorry.
Okay.
Flossing, which is very high paced and fun. Like you're constantly casting. Once you start to hit fish, you hit fish. So we'll do that, and then we're going to finish the day with fly fishing.
Okay.
So we're going to hit 3 disciplines in one day.
This is what this guy does for a living?
Yeah.
He's like
He's a
guide
guide.
up
He's
there?
a guide. So we'll do that. We'll do 3 different disciplines in a day. Then we'll go home. We'll have fish for dinner, obviously. We're going to eat hamburgers out there. So he's going to set up and grill hamburgers for us midday for lunch.
Specific. I like it.
Because he said you're going to have enough fish. So
gotcha.
let's do hamburgers. And then we'll go back to the same cabin that night. The next day, I haven't figured out what we're going to do yet.
Okay.
So I've been calling guides to try to like figure out where we're going to go. I want to do a half day that day because Wednesday, because we'll need to get the fish processed and frozen and either shipped back to us, or if we will have enough time to have it, if I drop it off in Anchorage that night, because we'll drive back to Anchorage that night, you and Drew are leaving the next morning.
Thursday.
So I have an Airbnb in Anchorage. So that day's sort of like I need to figure out Anchorage. I'll drop the fish off to get flash frozen overnight so that I can fly back with it.
Oh, is that how that works?
Well, you can either mail it or fly back with it.
Yeah.
And then that day, when you guys drop you guys off the airport, I'm going to rent a float plane charter that's going to take my dad and I from Anchorage out to somewhere. Again, that's still what I'm trying to lock that down because I'm just calling random places.
We're going to Homer at all? He mentioned
No,
Homer, and
Homer's
I was like,
pretty far.
I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, Homer sounds familiar. Yeah, we're going there.
Homer's far. So essentially, you have like Anchorage here, and we'll drive like an hour and a half to Cooper's Landing, and then it's another 3 hours down to
So Homer is where you guys went last time.
Homer. The problem is with you guys leaving, we'll be 4.5 hours away from Anchorage, and it's just that's a long drive.
Yeah.
So get you guys back to Anchorage. You leave. My dad and I will do the float plane fishing, and then we come home the next day. Yeah. So it's going to be, it'll be a
I looked
ride
up
trip.
weather for the first time yesterday because I didn't even think like, oh yeah, what's
It's
the
like,
weather? What's
it's
the
exactly
time
like
zone?
it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It said, I think for next week, obviously that's not the week we're going to be there. It was like that. It's in between the 50s and 60s. Doesn't go below 50, doesn't go above 60.
It's exactly the same weather we have today every single day.
So start packing and preparing for that.
I'm glad you're doing a float plane like adventure because even just flying out there like around through those mountains, I feel like is an experience in itself.
Yeah. I've been watching all Trent Palmer's videos because he's up there.
He's in Alaska right now.
He was in Alaska. He
I
did
saw
like
his British
he almost
Columbia,
did like
the other day.
a daily vlog. They all flew up there. They did all the stuff, and then I didn't watch them fly back yet. I don't know if he was vlogging that, but
I didn't see the full vlog. But I've got 2 buddies that in the last like 5 or 6 years have moved up to Alaska to become pilots, and like just seeing their stuff from the last few years of all the cool glaciers and like beautiful views, like a whole nother world.
Yeah, I hate when people say like it's like blank on steroids because it's like, but it's Montana on steroids.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. When I close my eyes, all I picture is like the scene in Justice League when like Aquaman is like he's in that bar and Ben Affleck goes to get him and he's like not interested and then just walks into the water and like the waves are hitting him in slow motion.
I like how you're not even looking at me,
like
because I have no idea.
Well, I
what
know
you're talking
Jordan
about.
will know what I'm talking about.
I'm
He has no
confused
idea what you're
on
talking about.
how you're referencing this to that. And like I
when
know
I
the
picture
scene
Alaska, that's what I picture.
Oh,
I just picture
okay.
like
Honestly, that's
bar,
fair.
blue, water, waves.
Yeah. And you know that because you watch these cartoons with your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly where you're going. You're going to see Aquaman.
I'm just walking to the water.
Aquaman in Alaska.
Let it hit me.
All right.
Can't wait.
Well, that's it.
That's all, folks.
That's a new thing. That's all.
There's
folks.
a lot of possibility there. Possibility.
Possibility.
Positivity.
Is that a real word?
Positive possibilities.
Ooh.
I'm doubling down on this.
All right.
Put it on a
coin it.
T-shirt.
All right.
Possibility.
The Possibility Podcast.
I don't want to design that T-shirt because I don't think I can spell that word.
Go ahead, spell it.
POSSIBILTY.
Trademark it. Buy the domain. Good night,
No,
Dana.
we just looked at all our domains. Good night, Dana.
Good night, Dana.